And we've got to figure out how to manage the mere resources that we have in a better way. The same thing has to happen in the city. On the other hand, I think there are departments in the city of Detroit that you really have to take a hard look at. There are core services that must be provided to the citizens on a day-to-day basis. But there are some ancillary services and departments that maybe we can't afford anymore. Is there a possibility to consolidate departments? I think so. Will it be necessary to cut out some departments? Probably. But before I want to make that decision, I want to make sure I have an opportunity to get into the mayor's seat with some experts that I'll be bringing to the table with me so that they can give me some advice in terms of how to deal more effectively, more efficiently, and be responsible from a financial standpoint.
Michael A. Thompson.
Mr. Bing, there's a movement in the city of Detroit to amend the city charter and create a council by districts. Can you go on the record here to tell us if you support council by districts and why?
I absolutely will support councils by district. As you talk about the charter, a lot of the people that I'm talking to over the last 7 months want to see the city charter change. So on the ballot, I think in November, we're looking hopefully for a charter change that will, for the next 4 years, set up a situation where we will be able to change city council by districts. I think over the last 40 or 50 years, once again, when our population was burgeoning, we had 9 city council people, all at large. Nobody had a direct responsibility or were held accountable. And I think what people are crying for today is responsibility and accountability. I think because the city has shrunk so much in terms of its population, the question is, do we still need 9 city council people? I think not. I think we should save the city some money, have 7 city council people, maybe 2 at large, 5 by district. But before we do that, we've really got to take a step back and understand how the population has shifted here in the city of Detroit. So I am definitely in favor for council by districts.
Hewell Perkins.
Mr. Bing, we have been known for decades as the Motor City, but as you know, both GM and Chrysler are on the brink of bankruptcy right now. Ford has lost money, losing billions over the last few months. You know that all too well as the owner of an auto supply business. What is your vision for Detroit without the power, the money, the majesty and might and tax base of the auto industry?
Well, I don't think we're going to lose the industry altogether. It's going to be different than what we've known it to be historically. But our city and this state and this region will still be pretty dependent upon the automotive industry. It's not going anywhere. It's just going to change a bit. That change will have a negative impact on the city in this area, no doubt about it, because unemployment rates are already high. They're going to even go higher. The tax base that's provided to the city from those car companies is going to also not totally evaporate, but it's going to go down substantially, and how we're going to backfill that is going to be a problem. I think we have to stop looking at ourselves as victims and start looking at ourselves from an opportunity standpoint. We have something in Detroit that most Midwest cities would die for. We have an entertainment venue, or many venues from an entertainment standpoint, that most of our competition in the Midwest does not have. We're one of the few cities that have all professional sports in this area. We're one of the few cities that has the entertainment from a gambling standpoint, casinos. We have 3 casinos here in the city with hotels attached to them. There are things that are happening. We have the theater district, which can compare to almost any other city in the Midwest. And I just think we've got to look at the positives that we have in this city, and we start building on that. The opportunity now presents itself in the state for movie-making industry. We haven't seen that in the city of Detroit yet, but we've got, if you go back to once again and you talk about Motown, before I ever came to Detroit, the 2 things that I knew most about Detroit is that it was the car capital of the world at that time, and it was the Motown sound. And we're losing both of them, and we've got to figure out how not to let our history pass us by. We've got a lot of intelligent people, a lot of cultural positive things here in the city, and we've got to get our young people back into the mode of thinking that I can be another Motown great. I can do some things that may not be automotive related, but from a technology standpoint, we need to move in some different directions.
And before we continue on, I'd like to remind folks you're listening to a mayoral town hall meeting with Dave Bing from Wayne State University. We're broadcasting this event live on 101.9 WDET. You can also see a video stream of this at govaffairs@wayne.edu. And we will return to the panel questions in just a moment. I want to remind folks we have carved out time for the audience to ask questions. Get out your question cards, write them down. Amanda will pick them up, and we'll get to those in a few minutes. Back to the panel now. Rochelle Riley, I believe, is up next.
I have another question from young people here at Wayne State, but the question could be from any of the young people across the state, and that is there any hope of having a regionalized transportation system like every other major city in the United States? And what can you do to make this happen?
Well, I think we're way, way behind the eight ball. No question in my mind about it. As the 11th largest city in the country, we are the only major urban city across the country, I think, without rapid transit. I think we start off with the bus system here. We have two bus systems that are competing and not doing a very good job, either one, quite frankly. I think they need to merge. I would like to see that happen, and that would be step number one. It's my understanding that there's a plan in place today to do the first phase of rapid transit up and down the Woodward corridor, going from the base of the river all the way up here to Wayne State. And I think that's a plus. It's my understanding out of the 13 stations that are planned, 10 of them seem to be financed at this point in time. Our problem is going to be the cost. It's cost prohibitive today to try to do too much too quick. So I think it's a long-term process that we need to look at. We're going to need federal assistance. So I think it's very important for those of us who are voting, and hope we all vote, the politicians that we send down to Washington, we've got to give them the message how important mass transportation is going to be for our area, and we need to put it on them to bring the bacon back home. I think that's very important. I think it's important to this city and to this region, and hopefully we'll see vestiges of that before the end of this year.
Michael A. Thompson.
Mr. Bing, when the mayor is elected on May 5th, one of the things that is expected of the mayor is to be the envoy for the city, I mean the spokesperson and the face of the city. Given the political turmoil that the city has gone through and the national, international attention that the city has received, how would a Dave Bing administration help to improve the city's image?
It starts with me. I've been here for the last 42 years. I think I've been totally committed to and immersed in this city. Everything that I've tried to do since I've been here has been in a positive vein. I've never gotten in any trouble. I don't think I've ever embarrassed the city. And once again, I represent, if I'm mayor of the city of Detroit, I represent all the people here. And so I'm going to make sure that I respect the position of mayor, I respect the city, I respect its residents, and everything that I can do to be a positive ambassador, not only going around Detroit, state of Michigan, and the Midwest. I want to go nationally and I want to go internationally. And because I've had the opportunity from my prior career to travel all over the country and internationally, I've always spoken in very, very high esteem about the kind of city Detroit is. I don't want to look at Detroit in a negative vein. Too many people are now taking pot shots at us, and I think we make the mistake of buying into that everything here is wrong, nothing good is happening. There are a lot of good things that are happening here in the city of Detroit. If you take this area itself, right here at Wayne State, it is a gem that nobody seems to talk about. And from my vantage point, for all of the good things that are happening, I want to go out and spread the word, because I'm one who believes that my glass is half full and not half empty. So everything that I can do to be supportive and be a cheerleader and be an ambassador for the city of Detroit, I'll do that at every chance I get.
There is no skeleton in the closet that will come and haunt the city, correct?
From me?
Yes.
No skeletons at all. That's the good thing about me. I've not been in the political arena. That's